Time magazine is now trying to make up for its most embarrassing selection for the Person of the Year cover story since selecting a certain German dictator in the 1930s. I'm going to show their surprising new cover and Trump's reaction to it because after capitulating to Mango Mussolini earlier, they have just tried to embarrass him now. Time magazine naming Trump the 2024 Person of the Year was more than just embarrassing. It was woefully inaccurate. Trump never got anywhere in his entire life on his own effort, let alone merit, and that was certainly the case with his re-election. Had it not been for a corrupt judge in Florida, a corrupt Supreme Court, corrupt secretaries of state in several states, disenfranchising Democratic voters, and lastly, a couple of corrupt billionaires who saw their opportunity to create a fascist oligarchy, Trump would not have even remotely become the 47th president. And by the way, you notice how much corruption it took to put Orange Julius back in the Oval Office instead of the prison cell where he belongs? If anyone deserved to be Person of the Year, it was clearly Kamala Harris, who took over a presidential campaign in July and won. Except for the elimination of over 3 million Democratic votes in swing states, that is. Harris was the authentic person who actually raised herself up by her bootstraps, the true candidate with class, the candidate with empathy and a sense of humor, but she couldn't overcome ballot harvesting on that scale, and the race was awarded to Trump. What really went unnoticed in this race, however, was how feasible it is to make presidential campaigns last only 3.5 months. Free speech laws will always prevent our presidential campaigns from being on a clock like they are in many European countries. But the Harris campaign proved that it could be done and that we wouldn't have to make it about laws. We can make it about norms, access, and media policies. Networks and news organizations could just agree not to give anyone coverage until July. Sure, you'd get organizations that don't go along, but mostly it would just be the marginal ones. And Fox, which is campaigning for the Republicans all year long anyway. And if not Kamala, Biden was a more viable candidate for Person of the Year, making the courageous, not to mention selfless decision to step aside for the good of the party and the nation. Trump has never done anything courageous or selfless in his life. And when you compare the selection of Orange Julius to the prior year's selection of Taylor Swift, the 2024 selection is all the more laughable. The multi-talented Swift is so accomplished that Time recognized that one photo could not do her justice, and so the magazine was issued with 3 different covers. That Swift not only endorsed Kamala but trolled Trump during the campaign made her all the more an American icon. But now the media is finally coming to understand that Project 2025, the plan for dismantling American democracy, is more than just a policy paper that Trump could deny on the campaign trail. It is an ongoing operation that is getting put into place at breakneck speed by the man everyone loves to hate, Elon Musk. Time magazine struck back with this cover. It says it all. Musk is in charge and demented Donnie is just the puppet. The village idiot who can frequently be found on the golf course more than in the Oval Office, which isn't such a bad thing. The more Don the Con can be distracted by glitter, grifting, and golfing, the better off the country will be. So today, Trump was indeed distracted by the cover when a reporter asked about it. Here is Trump's off-the-cuff comment.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
まだタイムマガジンは廃刊じゃないんですか?
Elon.
So in other words, he didn't know. He was taken off guard and he's seething. You can always tell when that happens because Trump just counterattacks. But give Cittadini some credit. He knew enough not to talk over the Japanese translator. But the other thing you have to pay attention to is the fire in the background. It's a perfect metaphor of Trump, who, despite his facade, is just a dying log soon to be embers. Hardly the image of strength Trump likes to project. And you can be certain that he'll be rage tweeting tonight. In fact, you can probably set your watch by it. For now, we have to wait and see if Time's cover is a warning shot across the bow, that corporate media just may be waking up to the fact that if they don't start finding ways to resist and discredit this regime, they too will go to the building one day and find the doors locked with Elon Musk in charge. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.